Okay, so I pretty much watched the Nintendo Switch Direct and I thought immediately I have to make videos. Well, I didn't think I was going to be making videos because honestly, this isn't the only Switch 2 video, that's for sure, because it's just insane for me to not try and do more videos when it comes to Switch 2. Besides, that is the pretty much top priority of everything else. So let me talk about a few things. I'm just speechless, honestly. This direct has been amazing. The best direct I've seen in a very long time. And I am not exaggerating, by the way. It is very much true. So, we got our first actual proper... we got a showcase beforehand with the trailer. But we actually got more of a deep dive overview trailer and everything like that of the Switch 2. And honestly, it's insane to me. I generally thought, and the worst thing is I've watched so many people, speculations and stuff like that, and I thought, okay, yeah, the Switch 2 is going to be an upgrade. I didn't think it was going to be this much an upgrade. I honestly wasn't expecting, for example, a 1080p screen, and I'm shocked considering that even like the likes of the Steam Deck doesn't have something like that, and I'm like, dude, 720p? 1080, I was like, no shot. 1080p? That's insane. And I don't even want to know how the battery is going to be because, it's going to go depending on how much you use the actual frame rate, which, again, 120 hertz. Now, this is like not fake, it's not anything like that. 120 hertz. I'm shocked. The reason why, because the max I thought the Switch 2 was going to do is probably 90 hertz. Now, that will obviously differentiate with like games like probably Elden Ring and stuff like that, because even on PlayStation 5, that struggles just to stay at a stable 30 or even 60 at times. I would say more like a stable 60 than 30. 30 it definitely more caters down to. 30 to 40s I've seen it kind of go. Obviously I'm not Digital Foundry, so I can't exactly say myself. But from what I'm seeing of when people play it, and I mean in person, people playing it, then yeah, definitely. So that's an interesting tidbit. It's 120 hertz. With a 4K, by the way, output. When you dock it, of course, obviously the screen itself is 1080p, so that is very cool. Again, vivid, very bright colors, HDR, display and everything like that. So expect some really mind-blowing things. I am still quite shocked that we're not. They did talk a little bit about the dock, but they didn't really go in about the dock. So I wonder if we are getting NVIDIA like DLSS technology. We didn't sadly get even like a tidbit about price, but I'll get more down to the other things. But yeah, specifically in this video I just want to focus on the Switch 2. So finally they've been hearing us with even like communication things. So now instead of using their terrible app, which honestly I've used it, I never want to use that thing again. Honestly, if I can help it, I would not want to use that app. If they actually improved it, fair enough, but now you can actually talk directly on your Switch, which is so much better. I don't understand why they didn't do that in the first place. But anyway, that doesn't matter because sound quality is another great thing that they improved on. Now it's like really good 3D audio, and I'm like, dude, this is like a tiny version of the PlayStation 5. And I'm not exaggerating. The reason why I say that is because just the things that they packed into this is insane. And think about, which I'll get to also, is the third party support. So first party, we also got a look at Mario Kart 9, or Mario Kart Worlds as it's calling itself, which is, again, a mind-blowing game that's going to have its own video. I will talk, oh, I knocked my mic, but I will talk about it, but it is more of its own video. I feel like it just deserves its own video, so I might not really talk about it really at all in this video, but I will go over it in its own video because there's a lot to dissect considering there's going to be a direct later on this month. And yes, the memory itself is going to be 256 gig, which has been rumored for so long, and I'm glad it's actually getting that. And the size difference between the Switch 1 and Switch 2 is just like night and day. Like the Switch 1 it just feels like it's trying to be like big and all, but this one's just humongous. It's just, and the dock, I'm loving the dock. 4K support is insane to me, and I'm like, dude, we even got quality mode, and it's just insane. The fact that we even got 2K2 is really nice because, again, sometimes I like that feature or that addition. Sorry for hearing some background noise, but because just a gate opened. But Yeah, so that's insane to me that we're actually getting like 2K now too, which is something I thought the Switch 2 was gonna aim for, more like a Switch 2 sort of resolution, not so much 4K, but the fact that it's targeting 4K is insane. Also, when they were showing off Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, they also displayed two things. One, which is like quality mode or something like that. Basically, you can go either 1080p, 120 Hz, basically frame rate mode, and what you call it, resolution mode, and then you also have that. So that's, again, that's crazy. And yes, Metroid does have a Switch 2 edition, which is another tidbit I really want to talk about as well now. They actually have Switch 2 next gen versions, like, kind of games, which is just mind-blowing. Metroid Prime, I was expecting that. The Switch 1 game already looks great, like the Switch 1 version of it, I mean, looks fantastic. So I don't even know why I needed to go any further. But then we have Switch 2's edition, which is insane. I'm like, dude, they don't even have to go that far. And Pokemon actually looks decent for once, because on Switch 1 it looks abysmal. That's not too surprising because Switch Pokemon games have always looked like they're like way far behind when it comes to like graphical appearances. Like they're probably on the same par of current gen, terrible games when it comes to like how they look visually. And yeah, I pretty much have like no real ounce of holding back when it comes to criticizing Pokemon graphics, because again, it's just something that really needs to be like reinforced because their games don't always look good. But actually, on the Switch 2, it does look decent. It does look decent. Maybe not how it should be, but still it's a step in the right direction. And I'm liking that. And it's just, again, very great. Metroid Prime pretty much seems like, it's a given that now it's just gonna be there with the Switch 2. And man, this third-party support, guys, they was not messing around. They realized their mistake with the Switch 1, because not everyone jumped on the ball when it came to the Switch 1, because they didn't know if it was just going to be another Wii U, which is understandable, right? So it does make sense. But they did not hold back on this one, in a sense. They kind of probably are still prepping games, so they can't show everything. Like for Capcom, for example, they showed off Street Fighter 6, which I'm glad they actually are showing that game, because that's one game I would want to play on the Switch 2, because we love a good beat 'em up, and I'm glad that they actually have that on there. So that's one thing. They didn't show off any Resident Evil, probably because again that's more gruesome for a direct, and they didn't they say 17 plus? I don't know. Again, I don't know what's the age restrictions when it comes to Resident Evil games, I'll be honest. So I guess I'll probably be its own thing anyway, like it's probably just a normal trailer on the Nintendo channel. So that's really cool. We got Capcom showing Street Fighter 6, and we also got stuff like Square Enix showing off, obviously, Final Fantasy. There was also the other game, I completely forgot. The minute Final Fantasy came on screen, I kind of just went, yeah, forget about that one. I'm not saying it's a bad game, it's just, again, the game I'm waiting for is Final Fantasy 7 Remake, as well as like 16 if possible. Again, we need to see how those games run, because if you heard, by the way, Rockstar CEO or someone of that caliber, I remember Rockstar was saying that they want to try to get their games on Switch 2. I don't know how that's gonna work, considering GTA 5, 6 sounds like, or seems like, we all know it's gonna be like a monster to run. So if they can manage to get that on, wow, that's a really brilliant thing they can do. But I'm not holding my breath on that one. But it is a step in the right direction that we are getting games like Final Fantasy 7, Street Fighter 6, which are quite graphically demanding games. And the one good thing is, versus the Steam Deck, is that Switch games tend to be more optimized than Steam Deck games. Because Steam Deck, because of its PC nature, they optimize it to a degree. I noticed the difference between Switch's optimization and Steam Deck's optimization. They're very two different things. And not only that, the internal specs of the actual system, like for example, the Switch 2 basically like kind of overclocks in a way that it's very different from the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck doesn't do the same thing where you could just hook it up to a second monitor and it will instantly look 10 times better from 720p to 1080p. No, Switch can do that, but not Steam Deck. I just want to also get that clear because I know some people may get confused on why it's such a big deal, so I wanted to highlight that. So yeah, third-party support is looking insane. We even got Cyberpunk 2077. I'm mind-blown about that one because that's ambitious port in my opinion. Are we going to get those impossible ports? Well, those impossible ports do seem like they're likely, but at the same time now, they just seem like they're normal ports. So like Nier Automata was one of them, very much impossible ports, but it seems like now it's not so much like a crazy thing. Whereas back then, yeah, of course, any of that. So Doom and stuff like that would look insane. I mean, Warframe's gonna look like an absolute like crazy game on Switch too, because Switch 1, I'll be honest, Warframe looks really good. I don't understand the magic they've done to get that game looking so good, but I'm excited for what it's gonna look like on Switch 2. And there's a lot of games I'm really curious, will they patch that up? Like, for example, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot had their like next gen versions. I'm assuming that obviously Kakarot would also get that, as well as Xenoverse 2. Xenoverse 2 I think got theirs already, I could be wrong, but yeah, that will be interesting. And also just the fact that some of these games could actually run at 120 Hz. Some of the older games, I would say, not so much the new ones. New ones, I mean, like Street Fighter 6 can definitely probably run at 120 Hz. Purely because it's a fighting game, it's not like an open world. We need to see how a game like Monster Hunter, if they ever put that on, well, they probably would. It's just what sacrifices will be made, because again, it's kind of the thing with Switch hardware or Nintendo's hardware is that you always have to sacrifice something. Now, like for example, Elden Ring, which again, can't believe that's on Switch. That's mind-blowing. I've been completely shattered when it comes to this direct. Like, I was just screaming. Like, I don't even know how loud I'm talking in the mic itself, but I was screaming out of every announcement that just caught my eye. I was just mind-blown. I was just screaming like, I don't know, Maximilian dude from Marvel coming back. Well, not coming back, you know what I mean. I might even play the clip if our guys are even seeing it. But it's just crazy, like, I'm just bewildered by the fact that we're actually getting this. So yeah, we got some third-party supports as well as games such as, you know, Street Fighter and all those sorts. So that's pretty interesting, you know. We all got those type of things. We got the hardware, talking about the specs, and well, it's voice chat, which, like I said, really happy that they actually improved that, because I know they're a family-friendly console, but at the same time, we want to actually experience it. And it's not like you support Discord, so I mean, we can still use Discord. I wonder if they will have that sort of as a feature or app. I am curious what apps will be on Switch. They didn't go too much about the UI, like, even though we got an in-depth look, we didn't exactly get the in-depth look I was hoping for, such as UI, because I was watching a video as well about how laggy the Switch's UI can be, mainly with the eShop and the Nintendo Switch Online app. Those can be very laggy and they're loading so much things at the same time. I wonder if it's intentional to make you think longer about your purchases and stuff like that. It's not too surprising. Companies always use psychological tricks to actually make you buy things, so not too out of the ordinary. It's just something that is that intentional. So I hope that the UI is running silky smooth, considering that it's like 120 Hz and the Wii U ones were really good. So fingers crossed that we actually get a really good looking UI system. I don't know why I forgot this, but there's also the part about the little microphone that you have and the little camera that you have. I've also completely forgot about the Pro Controller too, which is pretty much not so different. The one difference, or the two big key differences, is the connect button, which is obviously for online and stuff like that, as well as the obviously headphone jack, which is always welcome, because honestly I could actually use that than always using Bluetooth. Not always I really like to use Bluetooth because obviously I use battery, so I'd rather use something like wired. I'm kind of glad that I have my headphones here, but yeah, it's really nice because that is a big change I would like to see. And hopefully I can you have more volume control and stuff like that. It's just little things like that. Again, the sound quality is going to be really good, so expect that. Again, it's just like a mini PS5. I keep saying this, but it's insane. Like, at this point, I don't think I could ever really care about any of the other systems. At all. Like, Xbox or PlayStation, I really couldn't care about those consoles right now. because they've just kind of let me down as well. But yeah. Anyway, we'll go more about its impact on the gaming space for those two, or just generally. Not really in competition's sake, it's just for me, personally. Obviously, I don't know how it's going to fare with like all those stuff, but it's just crazy. Just mind-blowing, complete mind-blowing. But yeah, the microphone part is very welcomed on the Switch 2 Pro controller, as well as the camera for obviously if you want to show off your face when you're playing with your friends to get those golden reactions. There's one thing I did notice about the online part, which is mainly to do with the I think the low running FPS kind of when, like, you know, like when a game is lagging or you're watching a live stream and it just lags on you, which kind of happened for me when I was watching a direct. It kind of looks choppy. That's the word I'm looking for. I don't know if they can fix that, or is it just early stages? I don't know. Considering this is going to release on June the 5th, I don't know why they're releasing on that day. I still want to know why they're releasing on that day. But yeah, so I don't know what's all that about. But that's just one thing I wanted to highlight in this little tidbit part about the video. So yeah, we're talking about next is the Switch Online, because that's pretty crazy in my opinion. This one's just kind of funny because I know so many people, even on Twitter, like so many people in this. I don't even know why. It's not even like a big deal. It's like the whole thing that there wasn't going to be any third-party companies in this direct. Guys, do you think Nintendo's that stacked at the point where there's just going to be only their stuff? It's just bonkers what people kind of think, and it's just really bizarre. But yeah, for some weird reason also people think that was not going to be online. I kind of thought so myself, purely because would they just release all of them? Now, I didn't think that they would not do it at all, because again, well, I know what I just said, but the reason why I say that, again, which is kind of contradictory, is that essentially, I wasn't going to say that they was going to flat out not do it, but there wasn't being probably nearly as much support is what I'm getting at. Because some people just thought, nah, they're not going to do it. And I'm like, dude, they only ported over Metroid Prime, a few other titles. They have even done Metroid Prime 2 or 3, so where are you guys going with this whole notion that we're not going to get GameCube online? Either way though, we are getting it, and boy, I'll be honest, it kind of ruins the whole point. Like, I don't have to emulate anything, really, you know? Like, if they're really good, because I know the N64, when that released, it had issues. The Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy in general was alright, but that's kind of... It shouldn't technically be so much of an issue. If it did have issues, it would be very concerning. But GameCube, I'm willing to think that there's going to be some issues with probably missing textures and stuff like that. It depends how the online works. I mean, they seem like they had more time to iron out its kinks than the N64 one. We don't know the price though. The price structure looking like it's going to be bumping up a bit. I reckon so, considering not only you're getting this, you're still getting previous Switch Online stuff, SNES, NES, all of the stuff, pretty much, the Sega stuff and all that things. We don't even know what other platforms might be added, but the GameCube? That's crazy. Considering also you're going to be able to play this online with people. Bonkers, honestly bonkers. Like, they showed off Soul Calibur 2, and I'm like, dude, lock me in, give me that controller. Well, they did actually, in that sense, because we actually are getting a new GameCube controller. I'm sorry, I just had to get that out there. New GameCube controller, which, you know, I'm just saying, flat out, it's gonna sell out completely. That's gonna be like sold out so badly, that's what I meant to say, that it's gonna be hard to actually keep up with it. Because the controllers already have been like selling out so quickly. And now that we've got a new one in the party, yeah, it's just going to be insane. Again, oh my gosh. I don't think... It's just crazy because they showed off Wind Waker, which, yeah, you know, I was kind of hoping for the HD one. But who knows, they'll probably show that off still because, I don't know, it just might. But the other games that they're going to add? I mean, yeah, they got F-Zero, which is insane because... we need an F-Zero experience, and we do have that with the other systems, and now we're getting it with GameCube. That's even better because that's GX. One game I actually really do like, and visually it looks really good. So we're getting Wind Waker. We also are getting Soul Calibur. I'm trying to think, what other games did we get? I'm literally like trying to think. And the last thing is probably lame for you guys, but I literally am trying to think. Either way, they even showed off some other titles, which pretty much completely put out the idea of me even thinking of emulating stuff for myself. Again, if they do this right, I don't have to. The reason why I say that is because I'll naturally use online anyway, so it's kind of like an extra bonus. That's pretty much what the Switch Online expansion pack is, an extra bonus. You already get a lot of stuff anyway with the, well, I say a lot of stuff. You get some stuff with the normal online, but obviously the expansion pack is just if you want an extra bonus. So again, it is nice that we are getting it. And another thing I want to say is just, again, wild stuff is that we are still getting more GameCube titles such as Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Do you know how much that game costs online? We're talking about like 3 digits. That game didn't even come out at those price ranges. Like, it was not 200, 300 price range. I can tell you that for sure. But if you go online, it's not as bad as some stuff like Gotcha Force, which I'm praying and hoping that game actually gets support. Capcom, if you're watching this, please put that on there, because that game is one game that I would love to play on something like a Switch 2 system. Heck, just bring back the franchise. I wouldn't even mind, but still, probably pull that game over still. We're also getting Pokemon Colosseum and Gale of Darkness. Already you got me already sold. I just want to know, like, can you transfer Pokemon? Or how can you? Because I know you can transfer, again, I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. Still in the early stages, and we were nowhere, well, we are close to June, but we're not exactly like in May to say, hey, it's literally like next week is right around the corner. No, we're still a good miles away from it. So we still gotta wait and see. And if they have Pokemon Colosseum, then I guess I have no excuse about saying that I, can't really record that, because I wouldn't have to deal with the technical issues exactly of something like what I'm doing right now. Because, yeah, that's one franchise I actually want to get back to. And there's a few, things I actually still want to try out in that game, like team-wise and new Pokemon I want to use. So, hey, it gives me a second chance, or just really another chance. And I also haven't still played Gale of Darkness, so it's even better. It just works out really well. There's a few other games that they announced too, but those games just caught my eye instantly. Hopefully at some point, I don't know when, obviously when the Switch 2 does come out and I'm actually able to get it, I would hope to actually do a lot of playthroughs and stuff like that of games on that console. That would be really cool, and I would love to do that on the channel here. That's just something I wanted to get out of the way just quickly. And yeah, that's really what I have to say. What? All I have to say for what's been shown off today. Like, yeah, I mentioned about next gen patch and stuff like that, but okay, that's another video. My head, I want to say it's hurting. It's not even hurting. It's just, oh my gosh, taking all in that information and trying to put this out here. Again, expect some other videos really talking about things I probably missed out, because yeah, this is probably going to be trending for days, weeks until this thing. Then Switch 2 is probably still going to be trending right around its release, which is obviously gonna happen. I also completely forgot that they mentioned Split Fiction is coming on the Switch, day and date with the Switch, which is insane, because that's one game I've been really having an eye on, because again, I really don't know why I'm so interested with Split Fiction. It's just something very fresh, very fun, and it's very fitting for being on a Nintendo platform, considering what Split Fiction is all about. Fun, creative, and just generally a great time. That's what the game looks like to me, and I'm glad it's coming to the Switch. Anyway, this is all I really have to say. Price, again, we didn't get to see that, so hopefully, I don't know, maybe it's on their stuff on their Nintendo Today app. I'll need to check, but I'll let you guys know. This has been a long video now, I have to edit this. So yeah, peace out guys, and have a great day, and let me know what your thoughts on this Direct, and how excited are you, or ecstatic, or whatever, for the Switch 2. Peace out guys.